Hello, looks like my lighting is okay. I think this is my first live video from my new place, which I'm super excited about. Um, so welcome. Hello, everyone. My name is Kayla Slater. I am an online plant-based dietitian, nutrition, and run coach focusing on plant-based nutrition and helping specifically endurance athletes to fuel and feel good. So today I want to talk about this relationship to food and our body. So if you don't know, I took a new job working with individuals that with a lot of eating disorders. And so a lot of these things have been coming up. And then also recently in my own journey, if you've been following my journey as well, I recently had a stress fracture. And my body is changing a lot because I am not running as much as I was in the past couple of months. And now I want to get back to running, but I also know that I have to hold myself back. And one of the challenges have been for me is to not overdo it because I'm focused on worrying that I'm going to be gaining weight, right? And this leads to disordered eating habits. It leads to not having, or it's a signal to me that maybe there's not, maybe I don't have a good relationship with food like I thought I did. And that can be from my past. I've had disordered eating. So it could be from my past that's kind of creeping up again, right? And that can happen. But I want to talk about this. So, just having these two things on my mind, I'm like, you know what? I really want to talk about this because the past couple of clients I've had, this is coming up, related to that relationship with food and our body, and being an athlete and a runner. It's so important that we make sure that we address these things, because it can be really, really hard to fuel our bodies properly if they aren't properly addressed, if we don't get the help that we need. So I really want to talk about this today. So I hope you will join me. And so this is a live podcast episode for the Plant-Based Performance podcast, which you can find on Google, Spotify, iTunes, as well. You can find the podcast. And our Tuesday series for plant-based, I think I call it Plant-Based Performance Tip Tuesdays, with Coach Kayla. So here we go. So number one, what should we do is number one, we want to recognize it. The number one thing we have to do is we have to recognize this patterns of possibly, disordered eating thoughts. And maybe these aren't good things, or, maybe there is somewhat not a great relationship with food and your body. We want to recognize those thoughts. And then what do we want to do? We want to get help. We want to create a team. That is the best thing to do, is to recognize it and get help and really have a team. You want to have a dietitian, especially somebody too that understands or has worked with those sort of things before. So I know that can be a little bit challenging as well. Finding someone, I'm sure, for this as well, especially if you're also an athlete and also vegan or plant-based, right? That can be challenging. But you really want to develop a team. You don't want to just have a dietitian. You also want to have a therapist, maybe even a psychologist or psychiatrist. Having a good therapist is something that you can talk with, help with that mental aspect of it. Also, really understanding how to work through disordered eating or eating disorders would be really helpful as well. And then you may also want to have a good doctor or provider that you feel comfortable also talking with and sharing this information with, and really developing a good relationship with them. You want to make sure that you have somebody that you can talk with and feel comfortable, talking with. So that's also important too. And then what are some things we can do? What can we do, or what are things that I want to give you guys also, realistic, tangible things that I would give my clients to do if I discovered that there was any, possibly disordered eating thoughts, or, just body image things coming up as well, and impacting, either over exercising, running more than you really need to, that's not on your training plan because you want to burn more calories, right? All of these things can be considered disordered eating thoughts. Number one would be journaling exercises. I think journal exercisings are really great. Your therapist may even recommend these as well. I'm not a therapist, but specifically journaling exercises around kind of the eating portion of things and your body image. I've done, and that can be really helpful. That can be really powerful, of just kind of working through those thoughts and reframing those thoughts. Also, self-care is also really helpful. And self-care can look a lot different for a lot of people. For a lot of runners, I feel like one of the things that, kind of coincides, or kind of is like self-care to us, is stretching, foam rolling, right? Doing yoga. That's beneficial not just for your performance and, as an athlete, and to prevent injuries, but it can also be considered self-care because it can also be good for our minds, and it can be good to get us to do something that slows us down. And especially, I think, with runners and athletes, we just have a hard time slowing down, right? We want to go, go, go. We want to push, push, push. We've gotten to the point, a lot of us have gotten to a point where we can do that. We know we can do that. But when we're having these challenging thoughts, that's when it may need to back off. We either need to, focus on these little things that I know can seem little things of just slowing down, and it's more self-care, or it can be just backing off that exercise. And for me, just to give you kind of an example, I could, probably should give you more examples of clients, but and just because this is kind of on my mind, just to give you an example here for myself is, when a lot of times when I get sick or injured, it's usually a sign telling me to slow down. And that's just my body's signal. And a lot of times it has to be something really severe to slow me down. So it has to be either an injury or sickness that slows me down because I don't intentionally do it myself. And I say this because I do see this in a lot of clients, and I see this over and over and over again, that we tend to not slow down. I just realized my earbuds aren't in, so I'm going to put these in. You may be able to hear me a little bit better. So yes, so slowing down and practicing self-care is so important. Self-care can also be for women. It can be painting our nails, going to get our nails done, doing face masks, in general, journaling, reading, taking walks, right? Doing yoga, doing meditation, doing breathing exercises. If yoga or meditation seems kind of woo-woo to you, and I know for some people it does, but it really scientifically and research shows that breathing exercises really do help the stress levels, and are really important and helpful for self-care. What else? I didn't really want to include something to say don't do, but I feel like I have to say this as well, is if this is speaking to you and this sounds like you, don't track. Don't track your calories. Don't track your food. Don't track your exercise. I would even be wary of, exercise machines that have calories on them, or even these watches. our Apple Watch, our Garmin's, our Fitbits. These all track our calories, our output and our exercise. But if this is you and you're feeling like this is making you more anxious or more obsessed about those numbers, get rid of it. Get rid of it altogether. Don't use it. And it's totally okay. I know for me, for when I started running with my run coach, he did recommend me to get a Garmin. And it is nice to have. I do like it. But I do recognize as well, sometimes needing to just get rid of it. And I've noticed how sometimes I can get addicted to wanting to see that data. And when I was injured, that became really mentally hard to do, to not be able to, even though I was working out and moving my body, I wasn't tracking my runs. And it freaked me out because I looked at my data and I looked at my VO2 max and I'm like, oh my gosh, my VO2 max is like plummeting. Oh my gosh, I'm losing fitness, right? I'm freaking out. So in my head, right, what do? I go to the gym and I get on that cardio machine, that elliptical for an hour because I feel like I'm losing fitness, right? Is that a healthy relationship with my body? You could argue it's not, right? It may not be. So I just want to use that as an example, right? That, it's okay to also not get rid of these things or find a way that works for you. We can do a training plan. We don't have to necessarily have to track all this data. Yes, it's helpful, but if it's causing more harm and damage at that time, then we don't want to do it. And then, as I said, it's also also something to consider, to think that, is this the time to be training at the level that you want to, or do we need to back off? Do we need to back off our training and focus on other things? And as I said, sometimes we are forced to do that, whether we want to or not. But it all happens for a reason, because we really needed to focus more on other things, and that's okay. Also, focusing on what you can do is also really helpful. So, like focusing on including more fruits and vegetables in your diet, focusing on what you can include more of instead of feeling you have to take that away. And then that goes into my next point of getting rid of this mentality of good or bad foods. There is no good or bad food, and I want you to throw that rule out the window. There's no good or bad foods. Yes, being vegan and being plant-based can seem or could be somewhat restrictive. If it's too restrictive for you, again, don't do it. If it feels like that, or, tell yourself that it's okay. And I also want to give you this permission to eat foods outside that specific meal plan or diet or whatever, because if we're feeling like that's what it is, if it's a meal plan or diet and we're feeling any guilt or shame, that's a huge sign that there is a imbalance or an improper relationship with food, and doing what we're doing may not be right for us. So I want to put that out there, because I do work with so many vegans and plant-based athletes, and I get it. I relate to it. That's why I do what I do, because I want to help you properly do this the right way and continue to be plant-based, because I believe so much in it, and it can be so helpful for not just you and your health, because I know also so many runners and athletes that do have unhealthy diets and they're not truly healthy, even though they want to be, and they do their sport because they want to be healthy, but their diets are not great. And then we're also helping the environment. We're helping save a lot of animals. There's so many good things about being plant-based, but if it feels too restrictive, it may not be for you. We don't want that to happen. Or maybe we have to, make sure that we include or kind of make it more flexible. I mean, there are flexitarians out there. That is considered plant-based. That is okay, right? I want to give you that permission that it's okay. And really just throw out that mentality because it's not serving you. If this is you, if this speaks to you, thinking that there's good or bad foods, it is just not serving us. I hope, or what my hope is for, most of you that are interested in plant-based is, not just doing it for the reasons that I just talked about, but also, doing it, having a good relationship with being plant-based and doing it as a lifestyle, right? Not a fad diet, not doing it because everybody else is doing it and you think it's best for you. Not doing it because it gives you the reason to be restrictive, right? So we want to do this the right way, the proper way, but also for the right reasons. So that's something that I always ask people as well. Why vegan? Why plant-based? Why do you do this? Right? Because it's so important that we're not doing it to be purposely restrictive or any of that. And not all of my clients are like that. Many of them are not. But that's something that, as I said, just has been on my mind with my personal journey, as well as clients that I'm now seeing in the office. So it's just something that I wanted to bring up and talk about because I think it's important to talk about this. And yeah, that's what I have. That's what I have for today. So I hope this was helpful. If any of you have any questions or, would be interested in learning how to work with me, you can certainly go to my website or let's see, is my website. I know my website, my kind of in between websites here, but I believe it's still up, and you can go to plantbasedperformancenutrition.com and you can reach me there, or you can email me at kaylaslaterrd@gmail.com. You can also reach me there if you guys have any questions at all, or find me on social media. I am everywhere. Lately, I am probably not as consistent as I've been this past spring, summer. But as some of you know, I've been, going through a lot in my personal life, just moving a lot, transitioning from different jobs, and my recent injury. So next video, I think I will talk more probably about my injury if you guys are interested in that, or I may just do a Facebook Live in my Facebook group. But anyways, I hope this was helpful. I hope you guys got something out of this. If you do have any questions, again, feel free to reach out to me. And I will see you not next Tuesday, because we are now doing these bi-weekly until the end of the summer. Since summer just seems to be so crazy busy, it's just a little bit easier to do that. So I will see everybody back here live. If you'd like to join me live on the 26th. It's going to be the first week of August, which is August 2nd. So you will see me here back August 2nd if you would like to join me live, or you can listen to this episode on the podcast, which is released on Wednesday mornings. All right. Thanks so much, and have a wonderful rest of your week. Bye. And keep running and eating plants.